أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 268, Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah number 11 to 18. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who have believed, la yaskhar qawmun min qawmin, let not a people ridicule another people. Why? Because asa an yakunu khayran minhum, perhaps they may be better than them. وَلَا نِسَاءٌ مِّن نِسَاءٍ, and nor should any women ridicule other women. Why? Because عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرًا مِّنْهُنَّ, perhaps they may be better than them. So don't make fun of others. وَلَا تَلْمِزُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and do not insult one another either. وَلَا تَنَابَزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ, and do not call each other by offensive nicknames. In the previous ayat, we learned about conflicts, arguments, fights that break up between people. And over here we see what are the things that lead to those conflicts. Isn't it so? What is it that leads to conflicts? Making fun of other people, thinking that you're better than them, giving bad names to other people, backbiting others, having bad thoughts about the others. This is what leads to conflicts. This is what leads to arguments and fighting. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to avoid all such things, all such habits, all such words, all such conversations that may lead to a fight in the first place. Avoid them. Stay away from them. And look at the address, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who have believed. Remember the statement of Ibn Mas'ud that إِذَا سَمِعْتَ اللَّهَ يَقُولُ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَرْعَهَا سَمْعُكَ. Then be attentive in your listening. Pay attention. Why? فَإِمَّا خَيْرٌ تُؤْمَرْ بِهِ, either it is some good that you're being commanded, وَإِمَّا شَرٌ عَنْهُ, or it is some evil that you are being forbidden from. So, O you who have believed, لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ, no people should make fun of who? Another people. Yaskhar, from the word sukhriya, sin, kha, ra. Sukhriya is to make fun of someone, to ridicule them, to mock at them. And from the same root is the word taskhir. What does taskhir mean? Sakhara, yusakhiru, taskhir, to subjugate. When something is subjected, then it is low. Isn't it so? So, this word gives the meaning of dhillah, of being small, of hiqara, of being humiliated, of being small compared to the other. So, sukhriya is to make fun of someone, ridicule someone. How? By mentioning their uyub, by mentioning their faults. Why would a person mention the other person's faults in order to make fun of him? To make him look as someone very small, as someone who's not worth anything, in order to disgrace them. Isn't it so? So the purpose of sukhriya is to humiliate and disgrace the other. And how is that done? By mentioning their uyub, by mentioning their faults. And remember that sukhriya, it's not just done by words, because we think that making fun of others can only be done by words. No. It can even be done by actions, by fi'l, or by even ishara, by even a gesture. For instance, a person mimics the other, the way he walks. A person imitates the other how he dresses up. What's the purpose of doing that? Making fun of him. Isn't it so? Or for example, with a gesture. Oh, just raising the eyebrows. See? Look at that. So, sukhriya, making fun of the other, is done through qawl, fi'l, and even ishara, even gestures. And the purpose is to humiliate others, draw other people's attention, to laugh, to have some fun. And this is just like in a comedy show sometimes people are behaving. Talking about other people, imitating their behavior, imitating their actions, imitating perhaps the way they eat. Why? Just to have some fun. So any way that is adopted to make fun of others, to humiliate others, to ridicule others, it is not permitted, because Allah says, La yaskhar. He should not make fun. Any way is not permitted. It is not allowed. Who should not make fun? Qawmun, a group of people. Min qawmin, of another people. Meaning no group of people should make fun of another group of people. The word qawm is used for a group of people, but when the word qawm is used in contrast with nisa, with women, then it gives the meaning of group of men. Because there's qawm, and in contrast are who? Nisa. So nisa are women, and the qawm refers to men. So no men, no people should make fun of other men, should make fun of other people. What's the reason? Because asa, perhaps, an yakunu khayran minhum. Perhaps they are better than them. Who are better than them? Those who are being mocked at. Those who are being ridiculed. Many times, why does a person make fun of the other? Because he thinks he's better. Isn't it so? Or he thinks he's everything. So don't think you're all that. Don't think you're better than them. It's quite possible the person whom you're making fun of is in fact better than you. How? In reality. How? In the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or their status in the akhirah is much greater than yours. Similarly, Allah says, وَلَا نِسَاءٌ مِّن نِسَاءٍ. And no women should make fun of other women. Why? Again, the same reason. عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرًا مِّنْهُنَّ. Perhaps they are better than them. Meaning perhaps the women who are being mocked at, they are better than the women who are mocking at them. Now notice over here that women are mentioned separately. Men are mentioned, women are mentioned. Why is this so? Because it shows the importance of this prohibition, that it's so necessary. It must be avoided. A person must stay away from it. Because whenever a general address is made, both men and women are included. But when the men and women are mentioned separately, what does that show? The importance of what is being said. And if you think about it, women, they tend to suffer from this issue as well. Making fun of others. Sometimes more than men. Isn't it so? So qawm are mentioned, and then women are mentioned in particular, because women have this habit of making fun of others a lot, unfortunately. وَلَا نِسَاءٌ مِّن نِسَاءٍ عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرًا مِّنْهُنَّ. If you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not created all people equally in this dunya. Isn't it so? He has kept many, many differences between people. We learn in Surah Al-Isra, ayah 21, انظر كيف فضلنا بعضهم على بعض. Look at how we have favored some over others. Everyone has different degrees, different levels in this dunya. You will see ups and downs everywhere. Just as your 5 fingers are not the same. They're different in their lengths, in their width. Isn't it so? Why? Is it necessary that all 5 fingers should be equal, should be the same? No. If they're all the same, you will not be able to use your hand the way you use it with differences in your fingers. Isn't it so? So these differences are necessary. Some people, they are physically stronger than the other. Some people, they're taller than others. Some people, they're shorter than others. Other people, they're more beautiful. Other people, they're more knowledgeable. Some people have more wealth. Other people have less wealth. Some people are more sharp. Others are not as sharp. Isn't it? Some are more noble in their lineage. Others are not as noble in their lineage. So these differences are there. But these differences are necessary for this dunya to work, for this dunya to function, for this world to function. Because if all people were the same, of the same intellectual capability, of the same physical ability, of the same level of smartness, the same level of intelligence, then this world would be very, very boring. Isn't it? When Allah has kept this variation, then this is what brings a lot of variety. This is what lets you experience different things. Just think about it. You have some friends who talk more, other friends who talk less. Some who are more humorous, others who are very serious. Some who like to read a lot, others who like to not read that much, who like to go out a lot. Now, if all of your friends were exactly the same, won't your life be very boring? Of course. Isn't it? So similarly, Allah has kept these differences between people. Why? So that this world can function. And this variety brings about appreciation in us. We learn to appreciate the creation of Allah. We learn to appreciate the variety that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. However, based on these differences that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept, no one has the right to make fun of the other. No one has the right to taunt the other with regards to it. To insult the other with regards to it. That, oh, look at you, you're so short. Oh, look at that person, they're so huge. Look at that person, they're so thin. Look at that person, they're so dark. No, we don't have the right to do that. Allah has kept this variation, and we don't have the right to make fun of others based on this variety. Because He is the Khaliq, and the Khaliq has the right to create whatever He wishes. And if a person makes fun of the other's features, the other's abilities, then in fact, who is he making fun of? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't make fun. Because in reality, then you'll be laughing at Allah. You are ridiculing Allah's decisions, His wisdom, His creation. And this is incorrect. And we see that men and women are mentioned separately. Men are mentioned, women are mentioned. Why? Because this matter is very, very serious. We cannot take it lightly. Because unfortunately, making fun of others in the name of humor, in the name of comedy, is something that is acceptable in these days. And instead, it's actually encouraged. If someone makes fun of others, we laugh so much. We think, oh, look at them, so intelligent, so witty. However, we see that this matter is very, very serious. Allah mentions both men and women. And look, ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, which shows that making fun of others is not acceptable at all. It's not an acceptable behavior at all. And we see that qawm is mentioned. Nisa are mentioned. Why? Because this is something that people suffer from at an individual level and sometimes also at a national level. Isn't it so? That sometimes a person is making fun of another. And sometimes people are making fun of other people. People of one country are making fun of people of another country. People of one race are making fun of people of another race. So at no level is this acceptable. Neither between people of opposite genders, nor people of different ages, nor people of different backgrounds. No, it's not acceptable. Now if you think about it, what is it that leads people to making fun of others? Why do people mock at others? Why do people ridicule others? Yes, because a person thinks that he is better than the other. And this is based on what? Kibr, pride, arrogance, that I am better than the other. Oh, look at them, they're so short. My height, perfect. Look at the other. Look at their skin. Look at the way they wear their hijab. I wear my hijab perfectly. Look at the way they walk. I walk perfectly. This is based on pride. Isn't it so? So, sometimes people make fun of others thinking that they are better, and the reason behind that is kibr. And when a person has kibr in his heart, he wants to be seen as superior. He wants to be seen as better. He wants people to acknowledge him as better. Therefore, what does he do? He picks on other people, and he begins to pass comments on their height, on their lips, on the way that they walk, as if it's an obligation on him to comment on other people. What else? What other reason is there? Sometimes people just want to attract attention. They want to be the center of the attention. They want to be heard. They want to show that they're very clever, very intelligent, very smart, very humorous. They want to become famous. And in order to do that, what do? They start making fun of others. Is this the only way that a person can find? What does it show? Lack of sense. What other reason is there? Lack of confidence. So basically because of some complex that a person has. That he thinks or he knows that his height is not perfect, his education is not the best, his degree is not the best, the school that he goes to is not the best. So he has this complex. And in order to show himself as better, what does he start doing? Start making fun of other schools. Oh, you go to that school? No way. Really? That school where all those people go? Huh? I go to the other one. So, you know that your university, the school that you go to, is not the best one. But just so that you don't look bad, you start insulting other people. Due to hasad, jealousy, even that is a big cause. That a person does not like the other. And because he does not like the other, then he adopts different ways of humiliating and belittling them. And the easiest way of doing that is making fun of the other. Because when you make fun of the other, you're coming out as someone who is very humorous, and then you don't look as bad. But what does Allah say? La yaskhar. He should not make fun. No person should make fun of the other. And we see that also when there are differences amongst people. In times of conflict, when people disagree with the other, then what do they start doing? In order to defame the other, in order to make the other person look bad, what do? They start making fun of him. Because you see, when a person does not agree with the other person immediately falls down in his sight. Isn't it? Before you respected them, before you acknowledged them, but now you don't like them at all. When you don't like them, all of their faults, they become very visible to you. Isn't it? So what does a person do? He picks on those faults and he starts making fun of them. Why? To make the other person look as bad and to make himself look as good. These differences that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept between people, they're not because, the person who is taller is more beloved by Allah and the person who is shorter is not that beloved to Allah. No. These differences are just a test. What do you do? Do you become arrogant? Do you become proud? Thinking that your body, because it's beautiful or because your height is perfect, it's because of you and you take credit for it yourself and you start looking down on others because of that? This is a test. These differences that Allah has kept, they're all a test. Sometimes people make fun of others. Why? Out of boredom. Because they have nothing better to do. They don't have a goal in their life. They don't have something that is occupying their mind. So they end up making fun of others. They're just sitting like this. Oh, see that person who's walking by. Oh, look at that cat. Look at that bird. You have nothing better to do in life. Commenting on animals and people and things and machines and honestly. So a person who has an empty mind, nothing is burdening him, then he has the time to make fun of others. We see that sometimes when a person feels threatened by the other, that he's going to win, or she's going to be appreciated more, or people are looking at her. Like Fir'aun, he felt threatened by Musa a.s. So he began making fun. So similarly, people also start making fun of others when they feel threatened by them. So again, complex, right? That you feel you're lesser in some way, and to make up for that, you make fun of the other. And why do you feel you're less? Because you are arrogant. So the reason behind that is pride. Look at the cure as well. Just think, perhaps the other is better than you. عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونُوا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمْ. This is the cure. Don't make fun. Why? Think to yourself. Think about it. Perhaps the other person is better than you. You're looking at them only from one side. And sometimes people make fun of others because of narrow-mindedness. They're just judging people on the surface, on the obvious. Many times it happens that people who have some disability, they are made fun of. Unfortunately, people make fun of them because of the way that they talk, or they walk, or they carry themselves, or they speak. Sometimes people make fun of them. But we see that despite their disabilities, they accomplish so much. They do much better than the rest of the people. So it's a fact that those people who are making fun of others, they don't realize that other people are in fact better than them. عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونُوا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمْ. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. So a person who is sitting idle, who's not doing the dhikr of Allah, is not busy looking at his own faults, only he can find faults in others and make fun of them. Sometimes people think it's good to make fun of yourself even. Why? So that you don't look as bad. And this is because of a complex. that I don't look that good, so let me just make fun of my makeup. Let me make fun of my clothes. Let me make fun of my shoes. Then I won't look as bad. Why are you thinking like this? Accept the way you are. Why do you have to make fun of yourself or make fun of other people? Are shoes so important? Really? Clothes are that important? Your makeup is that important? So what? What's the big deal if it's not the perfect one? So لا يسخر. No person, no people, no woman, no individual should make fun of others. وَلَا تَلْمِزُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. And do not speak ill of yourselves. Do not insult yourselves. Talmizu is from the root letters Lam, Mim, Zai. Lams. And lams is to insult someone. What does it mean? To insult someone. What does sukhriya mean? Ridicule, make fun of. Mention the uyub. Why? So you can have a good laugh and other people can also have a good laugh. Lams, on the other hand, is to insult, to speak ill of someone. And this could be by mentioning their uyub, and these uyub could be in their khalq or in their khuluq. In a person's body, in a person's physical features, or in their character, in their manner, in their behavior. You understand? So, لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Do not even insult yourselves. How? By insulting someone's physical body, physical features, or their manner, or their character, their behavior. Lamaza literally is to raise one's eyebrow. Why? In order to mock at someone. Raise one's eyebrow in order to make fun of someone. Wink. Make a gesture with the eye or the hand. So, basically it's a very subtle gesture. It's a physical gesture, it's very subtle. And the point is to insult the other, make fun of the other. And you know about the surah, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Two words are used. Humaza, lumaza. There are two things, hams and lams. It is said that lams is to insult someone on their face, and hams is to insult someone behind their back. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَلْمِزُكَ فِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. يَلْمِزُ, lams. Right? What does it mean? To insult someone on their face. So over here Allah says, وَلَا تَلْمِزُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not insult yourselves. Do not maliciously try to uncover, reveal, expose other people's faults, whether they are real or they're imaginary, whether they are in their physical body or in their behavior, any kind of fault. Don't highlight that. Don't expose that. Don't insult someone by mentioning their faults. Now, a person insults another, finds faults in them, for the same reasons that are mentioned earlier, for sukhriya. People make fun of others, why? Because they think they're better. People insult others, why? Because they think they're better. It's because of pride, it's out of sometimes boredom, many reasons. And lams, it's more general than sukhriya. Sukhriya is to make fun in particular, but lams is to insult them with regards to their different abilities, behavior, style of speech. For example, a person cannot walk properly. So a person insults him by calling him lame in a derogatory way. A person stubbed their toe, so they've hurt their toe, they cannot walk properly, and as they're walking they're limping. And a person insults them how? By calling them lame. We learned that Salama, she was short in her height. And somebody said with regards to her short height, a description that was derogatory. And the Prophet ﷺ said, you have said such a thing that if it was put in the sea, it would make the water of the sea bitter. This is something very serious. Similarly, we learned that Safiya, the daughter of Huyay ibn Akhtab, she was said once that, oh daughter of a Jew, you're the daughter of a Jew. So she felt very hurt. And she complained to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said that you should have said, I am the daughter of Harun. Musa is my uncle, and Muhammad ﷺ is my husband. You don't need to feel bad. They call you daughter of Jew, look at who you are. So sometimes it happens that people make fun of others, they insult them based on their family, their lineage, sometimes based on their background, what they used to do before, their occupation. Like for example, somebody was telling me that they once mentioned to someone that they wanted to become a fashion designer. So I said, oh, you want to become a tailor? You get it? You want to become a tailor? That's what you want to do? And they said, I want to learn interior designing. Or you want to become, I don't know what word they used, carpenter or something like that. But anyway, this is like making fun of someone based on their occupation, based on their history, or what they used to do before. Similarly, this includes making fun of someone based on a crime that they committed in their time of ignorance. Like, for example, a person committed a crime in the time of ignorance. They committed theft. Later on, they've done tawbah, they've taken the punishment, but people still call them a thief. You understand? لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Don't do that. Don't insult one another. Don't insult yourselves like this. Or for instance, a person did something wrong before when they were ignorant. They didn't know about the deen. They did tawbah, they learned about the deen, they changed their ways. Somebody meets them after 10 years and they say, remember you used to do that? Remember you did that? Remember you said that? And in front of everyone they say this, insulting the other person, embarrassing them. Even they have forgotten the wrong things that they used to do. They've done tawbah, they've changed their ways completely. And the other person comes and insults them, ruins their entire image like this. لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Don't do that. And notice the word أنفسكم. It hasn't been said that don't insult other people. What has been said? Don't insult yourselves. أنفسكم. Why yourselves? Because when you insult another believer, in fact, who are you insulting? Yourself. Because إنما المؤمنون إخوة. The believers are brothers. So if you insult another person, in fact, you are insulting yourself. The believers are like a single body, one entire body. If you insult your hand, who are you insulting? Your own self. So لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. And secondly, لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Anfus has been said. Why? Because when a person insults the other, then what does he invite? Insult. Right? If a person insults the other, he is giving a license to other people, you can also insult me. Can you ever make fun of someone who is very careful in his speech? Can you? Can you say anything wrong to them? You cannot. Who can you say bad words to? Someone who uses bad words. Who can you say offensive words to? Someone who uses offensive words. You can never speak ill before a person who does not speak ill. So when you insult others, you're in fact inviting other people to insult you. And remember that hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that it is one of the greatest sins that a man should curse his own parents. And it was said by people, O Allah's Messenger, how does a man curse his own parents? The Prophet ﷺ said, the man abuses the father of another man, and the latter abuses the father of the former, and abuses his mother even. He started it. He insulted the other insulted him back twice or double. So لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Don't do that. And typically this happens in a conflict, in an argument, isn't it? One person insults the other and he insults him back. So don't do that. And thirdly, لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Why is anfus said? Because when a person insults the other and the other is not like that, he is not deserving of that insult, then in fact it comes back to who? The person who insulted the other. Like for example, if a person calls the other kafir, if a person calls the other munafiq, if a person calls the other fajir, fasiq, and the other is not actually like that, then who is it that that title will go upon? The person who said it. We learned Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said that the Prophet ﷺ said, any person who called his brother a kafir or unbeliever has in fact done an act by which this unbelief would return to one of them. He says kafir to the other, so this kufr will apply to one of the two individuals who are involved over there. If it were so as he asserted, meaning the other person is a kafir, then okay, he has confirmed something. But if the other is not as he has said, then it will return to him. Then he is a kafir. You understand? If a person calls the other kafir and he's not actually a kafir, then who is a kafir? That statement is going to apply to one of the two. If the other is not ahl of it, it's going to come back to who? The person who started it. We also learned Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu, he said that he heard the Prophet ﷺ say, if a man accuses another man of deviance or accuses him of disbelief, that accusation will come back on him if his companion is not as he said. If a person accuses the other, insults the other, and he's not worthy of it, then it's going to come back on him. This is just like a boomerang effect. You know, when you throw a boomerang, it goes all around and it comes back to you. Similarly, if a person insults the other, he's not worthy of it, it's going to come back to him. So, لا تلمزوا أنفسكم. Don't insult yourselves. ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب. And do not insult each other. How? By calling names, by giving nicknames, by giving titles. Tanabazu is from the root letters Noon ba Zai, tanabuz. And tanabuz is to fix, to give a title to someone, to give a nickname to someone that shows bad sifat, that shows bad traits, evil traits. Like what people do generally. Like, for example, calling a person nerd. They're so nerdy. Now, is this a good title? It's not a good title. It's not a good description. Tanabuz is what? That people give such a title to another that shows bad sifat, that shows bad characteristics. And regardless of whether he deserves that title or not, regardless of whether those characteristics are present in him or not, it could be about his physical features, it could be about his akhlaq, it could be with regards to anything. You understand? Sometimes people give titles to the other based on their physical features. Sometimes they give titles to the other based on what they do, based on how they talk, based on how they behave. Isn't it so? So, لا تنابزوا بالألقاب. Don't insult one another by using nicknames. And alqab is the plural of laqab. What is a laqab? A title, a nickname. And a laqab is basically another name that is given to a person. Another name that is given to a person. Meaning a person has a name, but he is given another name on top of that. But what's the difference between a laqab and an ism? Ism is just a name by which a person is recognized. And it doesn't mean that if a person has that particular ism, he also has those characteristics. For instance, if a person's name is Sajida, if a person's name is Abida, what does Abida mean? One who worships a lot. It's quite possible they never do ibadah. So if a person's name is Abida, does it mean they're actually Abida? It's not necessary. But a laqab, on the other hand, is always a description. You understand? Laqab is always a description. And remember, there are two types of alqab. One laqab is that which is given to someone, which takes into account their respect and the high status that they deserve. Like, for instance, the titles of the kings. Why are they given those titles? Or why are they given those alqab? Like, for example, Professor so-and-so, King so-and-so, President so-and-so. Why? Because they deserve that title. It's an honor for them. Similarly, someone who is knowledgeable, who is a teacher, they're called Shaykh, they're called Allama, Sayyidina, Maulana. Similarly, kings and queens, they're given titles. We see that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was given the title Atiq. Umar radiallahu anhu was given the title Faruq. Uthman radiallahu anhu was given the title Dhun Nurain. Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu, he was given the title of Saifullah. So, these titles, they are a form of praise for a person. Why? Because what is being considered in them? The honor, the respect that the person deserves. Another type of laqab is that which is given in order to insult the other, in order to annoy the other, especially which defames the person. And this is what is meant over here. This is what is meant over here. Like sometimes people will call another person Sheikh. Why? Out of mockery. That, you are very Sheikh and you're telling me all of this? What Sheikh are you? What Imam are you? Why are you telling me? Why are you being so preachy? So, what does Allah say? لا تنابزوا بالألقاب. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said with regards to this, that لا تنابزوا بالألقاب, this is to embarrass, insult a person who has repented from the sin that he had committed in the past. That a person committed a sin in the past, he has repented from it. But you call him, Oh thief, come here. Oh fasiq, come here. Oh zani, go away from here. You understand? A person did something in the past. He's over it. It's history. They have repented, but you give them the laqab by which they will be embarrassed, by which they will be insulted. Hasan al-Basri, he said, calling him by the name of the previous deen that he was on before. Like, for instance, a person was a Christian. They were Jewish. They have done tawbah. They're a Muslim now. But every time they refer to, oh, that Jewish man? Oh, yeah, of course he's a Muslim. But that Jewish man? That Christian? That Ahmadi? This is incorrect. Similarly, Ikrimah, he said, calling of a person to another, oh kafir, oh munafiq. Just because someone has made a mistake, you call him a kafir right away. Just because someone has made a mistake, you call him munafiq right away. This is giving a laqab to a person which is incorrect. Similarly, Ibn Zayd, he said, calling someone by evil actions or sins that they have committed, or evil actions that they committed in the past, or evil traits that they possess, or bad traits that they possess. And no person is perfect. Every person has some faults in them. Like, for instance, if somebody tries their best to do their work on time, but they're not able to, and people call them, oh, you latecomer, or you person who's always tardy. This is incorrect. لا تنابزوا بالألقاب. And sometimes these alqab are given based on people's physical features. The, oh fat one, oh tall one, oh thin one. And unfortunately, very horrible words are given to others which cannot even be mentioned over here. Horrible alqab are given. So, a believer is very careful. Your vocabulary, your words should be very clean. The way that you address people, the way you talk to them, the way you describe them. Be very respectful, be very careful. And sometimes, it almost borders on, it's borderline racism. Isn't it? That sometimes people will call others by the color of their skin, or by the type of nose they have, by the country they come from. This is how they will describe them. All such descriptions are wrong, because it leads to hatred. It ruins relationships between people. So, لا تنابزوا بالألقاب. We have to be very, very careful in our speech. Sometimes it happens, a person comes back, we see them after a very long time, you're like, what happened to you? What's gone wrong with your color? What's gone wrong with your skin? And are you okay? Is that all you can see? Is that all you can see? I remember when I went somewhere after a very long time, I had just given birth to my son, and people were like, oh my God, you put so much weight. I'm like, duh, I just gave birth. But, sometimes people, they don't realize what they're saying. They don't take into account the feelings of the other person. So you have to be very, very careful. Don't make fun of others, don't insult others, and don't give titles to other people.
Assalamu alaikum. Shaykh Salih was saying that look at yourself before you mock at other, before you backbite other. Are you perfect 100%?
Yes.
If you find that you are perfect, then do mock at one another. And one thing he mentioned in his tafsir, he said that, look, the first command, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was commanding us to obey the messenger or respect the messenger. And now Allah
لا
subhanahu wa ta'ala,
تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله.
and then afterwards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what not to do.
Yes.
And if we obey Allah and His messenger and respect them, this will lead to unity.
Yes.
But these fights, backbiting, and
Making fun of other people.
Yes, making fun of other people, and it leads to disunity.
Very true. So all of these things, what do they lead to? Disunity. They lead to bad relationships, bad feelings, hard feelings against other people.